Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Matea Rentia, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. Welcome back to another Your Friday 5. Do you guys remember when, maybe it was like a year ago, but not too long ago, the only thing, at least that was on my social, was the only thing that was ever popping up was, here's how to increase your GLP-1 naturally. And everyone had these recipes that essentially were just synonymous with high fiber. Maybe they threw some protein into it as well, but they were all high fiber recipes. And they were like, this is going to boost your GLP-1, which is true. But we've talked about how it's a little bit junk in the sense that, yes, it boosts GLP-1, but GLP-1, when it's occurring naturally in the body, gets broken down really quickly when it gets stimulated, think within a few minutes. And when you take, for example, a GLP-1 medication, like a sub-Q injection, it can be around for weeks in the body, depending on the half-life. I was looking at old recipes and I wanted to up my fiber. So that's something that I'm working on this last quarter of the year. I find that protein, I've been doing a lot better with that, but fiber somehow just at times kind of drops off. I find if life gets busy, fiber is always the one to suffer. There are enough things that I do. The water can stick around, the walking sticks around, the protein, but fiber can sometimes just, boop, it kind of goes down. So I was thinking about how to up my fiber. So I looked at this old recipe that I used to make, and I can't believe I stopped making it because it was the best. So I've been back. I've been making this 24/7 and I love it. I want to share this recipe with you today and give some thought here. You are heading into, by the time you hear this, it's about mid-September. You're heading into the last quarter of the year, October, November, December. What do you want to do this last quarter of the year? Do you want to up your fiber intake? Do you want to start to do a little bit more meal planning? Do you want to learn a few new recipes? I really love whenever I'm in a round of 30-30, I try new recipes. This is my time to experiment. I say, okay, everyone else in this group is looking at how to diversify what they're eating and doing this, doing that. We have a lot of things we do in the program, and I always do that along with them. So this is just one of the ways that I up the fiber that I'm eating. All right, so here's the recipe, and we'll have it written down below. I want to call this sort of like a GLP-1 satiety recipe. I like to call it like a high fiber and protein cookie crumble because it's really going to taste like you have cookie dough on top of whatever you're making. So this recipe, you can make it and you can put it into little sort of quarter-sized balls if you want to either have that as a dessert or or part of a meal. But I again like to have it more crumbly and put it on top of, for example, recently I've been doing like half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt. I'll do half a cup of frozen wild blueberries from Costco. They are so good. I will mix that together. It has such a nice cool texture when you do that. And then I'll crumble some of this on top. So here's what I mix. It's a 1-to-1-to-1 recipe. It's the same amount of all of these ingredients. What I start with is 1 scoop of protein powder. I've been using the Devotion Angel Food Cake flavor. I just find it works really well. It's a vanilla flavor. So if you use different protein powder, that's fine. So whatever amount you're going to use, like when I use 1 scooper of that, it's about 6 tablespoons. So I will use that same scooper. And then I also do that 1 scoop, which is the 6 tablespoons of chia seeds, 6 tablespoons of ground flax seeds, 6 tablespoons of coconut flour, and also 6 tablespoons of almond flour, then 6 tablespoons of whatever nut butter of your choice. Sunflower butter, there's some evidence that it increases GLP-1, but I think that that's a class effect. So again, don't quote me exactly on that, but I use peanut butter just because I like the taste of it. So you just want some fats in there. They're going to help bind this together some. And then about 6 tablespoons of water, a little bit of cinnamon to taste. What I would recommend with the water is that you just slowly add it as you're mixing in whatever the nut butter that you're choosing and you're mixing this all up. You slowly add the water because you could make it a lot more compact. You could almost do it. You know how there's like pan cookies where instead of there being individual cookies on a pan, it'll literally be like a skillet cookie where it's the whole thing and you can sort of cut it like pieces of pizza. Do you know what I mean? You could have it like that at the end and cut it into squares or pizza slices, whatever you want to do. But again, I like the crumble consistency. So I'll put it on top of that Greek yogurt with the blueberries and it literally tastes like cookie dough is on top. The other thing that I'll add that's not part of this recipe in the macros, I will often add some chocolate chips in there. Lily's is a lot lower sugar, but recently I'd run out of it. So I had from Whole Foods, I had some dark chocolate chunks. That really worked as well. If you have any any sort of 80 or above dark chocolate, 80% or higher dark chocolate, like Lindt has a really amazing bar for that. You could cut it up into smaller little slivers and put that in as well. If you do this, so let's say that you made 12 portions of this. And again, it's going to vary based on the weight of what you're using and the ingredients that you're using. So you can calculate this on your own, but let's assume that you made 12 servings of that. It's about 100 calories per portion, 6 grams of carb, but that's 6 grams of fiber. So that's amazing. 6 grams of fat and 4 grams of protein. So that's a pretty good mix of being pretty darn high fiber and still getting some protein in there. And again, then I pair it with protein as well. I will say typically when I have chia seeds, I will normally have it rehydrated, if you would. So meaning I'll do it with like a 1-to-1 Greek yogurt with kefir or Greek yogurt with some water, and I'll add in the chia seeds. So a lot of people have asked me the ratio on that. It'll usually be about half of a cup of Greek yogurt and half of a cup of either a milk, a kefir, or a water. But and then I'll put in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. So I'm wanting to get at least 8 grams of fiber, if not more, with that meal. And the reason you have to add in that liquid is that chia seeds absorb a lot of the water. Now, the version that we're making here, you're not having that step where it's absorbing a lot of the water. What I would recommend if you're going to make this is that you definitely drink some fluids with it, because the chia seeds are not going to be rehydrated. They're going to be in their dry form when you're having this. And so that's just something to consider. Let me know if you end up making this, if you love it as much as me, but I've just been so obsessed with this. What I do is I make it. It makes a huge amount. I will probably for about 2 weeks eat on it. I'll put it into smaller containers so that I just take one out and pop it on top of what I'm making. I really love when you can make something and you're not having to constantly meal prep. That's just, I'm never more annoyed than when I'm 24/7 meal prepping. All right, let me know if you try it. I love to hear if you guys try the recipes that I talk about here. Think about the end of the year here, what you want to achieve. You've got a few months left. You can get so much done. Keep in mind, if you want to participate in season 2 of Behind the Curtain, we have that option for the live challenge in December. Again, spots are limited for that. As soon as we fill up, there won't be the option to sign up for that part anymore. So if you're thinking about it, I would sign up sooner than later, because if you're going to want to choose to purchase the printed workbook to have it with you, remember that can always take up to 2 weeks to come. And so you don't want to sign up December 1st. You could still have the digital version if we still have spots and you could do it, but it's different if you're someone that really likes a printed thing in front of you. That live challenge part would be December 1st through 21st. That we're going to have a WhatsApp group running the whole time during the week, Monday through Friday. I'm going to go live every single day of the week. So we're going to have 15 lives within those 3 weeks, and you are going to feel so motivated, inspired, understanding stuff, tons of Q&A, tons of me walking you through the material directly. I cannot recommend that enough if you really want to end the year strong. Of course, all those replays and everything, you'll get those. Okay. All right. Let me know if you have any questions, but I hope you have a great rest of the week here. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk on Monday. That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category, and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode. Easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend, listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.